Welcome back guys to another video. This is more to show the Virtuous Cycle DLC. In this video I'm going to be doing a quick 100% run of a seed. So you'll see where all the pillars are, all the chests and all the loose items. And with that you can actually use this on any other seed because they're all more or less in the same place. I'll be using the HADERN shell and the HADERN weapon. And along the way I'll be giving you a lot of tips just around the Virtuous Cycle DLC in general, around instincts, around how the RNG works, just things like that. I'll give you tricks and tips on that along the way guys. Right, with the intro out of the way, let's dive in. So we begin from the hub tower, Fulgrim. This is sort of like the hub place in the DLC, where you sort of come back after finishing a seed and you sort of have to heal your wounds and spend any time, anything before you jump back into a seed, buy any like permanent upgrades. The runic gate here, these are all permanent upgrades. Once you buy these, they're permanent, and as you see that I've maxed out everything except for abundance. You want to leave abundance until last because it makes less items appear in the world. So when you run in these seeds, if there's less items, it means basically you're going to have less items for your foundling and your obsidian run, which are the most difficult ones. And if you've got less items, it means you may have to farm them. So if you leave abundance until last, that'd be better. This is the seed I'm going to use for this particular video, 620582. 620582. We're using HADERN with no shade, that's very important, and we've taken in the HADERN weapon. And before you do this, you don't need to have all them shades unlocked that I had in the runic familiarity menu, but you do want to make sure you've got, if you're using the HADERN, make sure you've got the epic variant unlocked for it by maxing familiarity of that weapon. So when you start a seed, you begin with a epic instinct for it. Now this particular seed, the reason I chose this is because the seed gives you a starting weapon instinct, and also because of the katana epic familiarity, we also get another weapon instinct on the seed. So as you just saw then, when we first started, we actually started this level with the guard breaker instinct for the katana, and what that does, it gives you up to epic level. At epic level, it gives you a 20% chance to parry an enemy automatically when you just use a simple light attack on them. A simple light attack. And we also get legendary version of that on Fulgrim, in Fulgrim here. And if you want to get the legendary version a bit quicker, I've got a video called the most overpowered seed, and I'll show you, it's the same seed but I run straight to the pillar with a legendary perkin. But yeah, that guard breaker, it's great because it can let you get your HP back. All you do is attack an enemy in katana light attack and 20% chance for it to be a parry, or with the axe attack light attack. It seems to work in katana form. On the description it says it's for the axe, but it works in katana form. Not sure if that's a bug or not. But these pillars I'm collecting so far, the frog chests and that, they can move around. Sometimes where I'm running to, you may find, if you choose a different seed, you may find there's not a pillar there, because they can move around a little bit, but they're always be in the same spots. Just sometimes there may not be nothing in that spot, and sometimes there may be something. It just depends on the RNG of that seed. It's not like they can appear anywhere on the map. There's always certain spots things can spawn. So if you just know where them spots are to check, you'll always be able to run straight to things. And yes, in this video I'm not killing many enemies because there's just not much reward for killing them. I'm just running straight around the maps, getting all the items, all the pillars, all the chests, killing a few enemies. We're going to kill all the mini bosses like the Squisher. First of all, what I had to do here is I had to get rid of the vampires around him. You don't always have to get rid of the vampires if you can keep him away from them so you don't aggro them, but sometimes it's safer just get rid of the vampires in the first place. But I still died. And you probably see here with the axe katana, I'm spamming the running R2 attack with the katana because it's very overpowered. As you can see here, look how much damage it does, and it also does a great deal of stagger damage as well. So if you want an easy time, use the axe katana, choose the seed, make sure it's got epic familiarity, and just keep spamming that weapon skill. Yeah, so the instinct then, I always go for max health. You get like resolve gain or sort of max stamina. If I have to pick, I go for max health first, max stamina last. I don't really bother with resolve gain too much, just because resolve it's not as useful in this, because you don't have like your forbidden offering in that, I don't think anyway. So yeah, I always go for max health. Of these tunnels that have a dead end, yeah, sometimes you don't get a chance to recover and you get attacked before you even recover. So just make sure you don't come through these with low HP. The frog chests will always give a mortal instinct, by the way. They're like an increase to one of your basic stats. And if you're in the same seed, all the enemies will be in the same places as they are for me. Enemies are always in the same places, depending on what seed you go on. The things that can change, the pillars and frog chests will all be in the same place. But with the pillars, depending on what order you collect the pillars and what instinct you take, it can change the instincts on other pillars. So although depending on what seed you pick, everything will be in the same place, the instinct can change a little if you take them in different order or take different instincts. And also sometimes chest contents can change as well. Yeah, sometimes chest contents can change. So that was it. See that parry then? That's just from using a light attack. So guard breaker, which you literally start this seed with, all you have to do is light attack an enemy, and after a few hits you'll get a parry. It's a 20% chance, and it does happen quite often. So you just got to use light attack on a few enemies until you trigger that parry, and then you just press R1 again to do a riposte and get your HP back. To change, you can't do it right now, but when you get a glance later, in that circle to the left of your HP bar, you can press triangle to change what type of riposte you do. The one for the sort of red, it looks like a red bomb, but I think it's supposed to be a heart. That gives you HP. See there again, get some HP back. So guard breaker is a great way of getting all your HP back. And when it comes to items you get, what I mentioned earlier about the abundance perk, whenever you get mortal tokens or ornate tokens, do not use these if you can help it. If it's an emergency, like you're right at the end of the seed and you're about to die, then if it's an emergency, yes, possibly use one or two, but you really want to save them for the Obsidian run, because the Obsidian run is the difficult one. In comparison, they all do seem pretty hard, but when you get to the Obsidian run, that's when it really does get difficult, and that's really when you want to save your mortal tokens and ornate tokens. If you don't mind grinding a bit, you can just keep loading up a seed, running around Fulgrim like I'm doing here, collecting all the items, all the chests, then restarting, doing it all again, and just try and build up a stock of mortal tokens and ornate tokens. That way, this pillar at the back here that I'm going for now, there's not always a pillar here, by the way. It's not always a pillar there. And do you see the instincts it had then? It had instincts related to stomping. That's when you jumping from a height or falling from a height and you harden, and you do that sort of like ground pound when you hit the floor. Anything related to that, don't bother getting it unless there's nothing better, because you can't use it that often. You just can't use it that often. And like I say, depending what order you collect pillars in, you may get different instincts. So yeah, just bear that in mind. The order you collect things in can change what instincts you get. And when it comes to the tokens that spawn, yeah, tokens can spawn in a random pillar on a level. Can spawn on a random pillar, and with the tokens, that's basically like a free warp. The tokens, they give you a temple stone in your inventory, and you can use that to warp to whatever area you choose at the time. But when you reach that area, it just get removed from your inventory. So it's not like, unfortunately, you can't stock up on them. It'd be nice if you could stock up on them and then take them across to other seeds, but you can't. Once you reach an area or leave a seed, load up a different seed, you do lose the temporal stones. But yeah, that's what they do. The tokens, they can spawn in a random pillar. They're the only thing that really changes around. With the pillars, if you collect them all in the same order, you more or less get the same instincts. But the tokens do randomly move around each time you load the seeds. So unfortunately, you can't just run to a pillar, get a token, and then warp to the next area, because it's always in a sort of in a random pillar. You can't always do that. I think sometimes you get a certain seed. I've had seeds where it's always been in the same pillar, and I'm not sure if that's just been luck or it's been a certain seed or some sort of bug. But so I don't want to say that can happen, but they can move around the tokens. But I normally, when I do get a token, I always 100% an area first. The thing is with the tokens, it's not so much in Fulgrim, because in Fulgrim you can actually just run to an area and pay 5,000 to go straight to the area. But in the temples, so you got the temple, you got a Seat of Infinity, you got the Shrine of Ash, and you got the tomb area. Yeah, so here, them instincts then, they didn't really, none of them are really that important, so I just went with regeneration. Max resolve, by the way, the one that gives you max resolve, a chance of getting an extra resolve bar when you defeat a boss. It doesn't work. At the time of making this video, that instinct doesn't work. I know, because I've had it at 100% before and I still didn't get anything. Yeah, legendary, it gives you 100%. It still didn't get anything, so max resolve plus doesn't work. These separation ones, yeah, none of them are really great. I always try to go for the ones where if you do get killed, the enemies remain petrified just a bit longer, just give you time to get to your shell before any of them get a chance to kill you. So there's chest behind here. Sometimes there'll be a pillar here at the back there, an orange one, and it's a pain in the ass because you have to kill all them enemies. But luckily on this seed, there is no such pillar there. Yeah, some seeds you have orange pillars in really awkward places, and it can make a bit of trouble if you're trying to 100% it. But this seed, they're all in pretty good places. The orange pillars, they're all in pretty good places. There's probably one or two that are not in a good place, but I've had seeds before where every orange pillar's been in the shit place. So this is good for that. It's a pretty good seed. I do like the seed. I actually run the same seed. So here, yeah, heavy attack damage, momentum attack stamina, and heavy attack stamina cost. See, we haven't got a choice here. You don't always get a choice that you want sometimes. Sometimes you just can't. For example, if you're looking for super hard, sometimes it just won't appear. And sometimes whenever you've taken an instinct to fill that sort of category, you cannot replace that with another instinct. Then going forward, you'll only get upgrades to that instinct. But there is a real, a very rare chance that you can sometimes change that category instinct. Yeah, sometimes it's quite rare, but sometimes you can swap a instinct out for another one of the same category. It doesn't happen often. I think I've only had it happen about 10 times over probably about 40 hours. But it does happen. Yeah, so just play a seed for about 5 hours and you'll be able to change it. But yeah, momentum attack, heavy attack. If you get heavy attack up, that does not affect your heavy attack when you're doing a running. When you're doing a running heavy attack, the heavy attack instinct does not increase that, by the way. What you need for that is momentum attack. Momentum attack is related to running attack and plunging attacks, I think it is. And that's what you want. I didn't have it then, but if you can get momentum attack up and you're using the running jumping attack on the Axitana, then you want to get that. But if you're not using this, obviously just take whatever instinct is best for you when it comes to actually increasing the attack, the type of attack. So Evil Baghead, yeah, he's pretty weak. I guess he's got no armor. He's got no armor, I see. Yeah, see, harden cooldown there, epic harden cooldown. If you've got harden cooldown, you always want to get for that. When it comes to harden instincts, you always want super hard. Super hard is the best one. But that is the second category. The first category, you can normally get a harden cooldown. And you do want to get a harden cooldown because if you can get legendary harden cooldown, your harden, it cools down so fast, literally so fast. So even if you've got super hard but sort of a low rarity, if you've got harden cooldown at epic or legendary, it will cool down so fast you can keep spamming that chance of triggering the super hard instinct. The super hard instinct. And they're super hard, the best one in the game. Super hard, best instinct in the game. If you see super hard, take it. Do not hesitate. Take super hard. And you may have saw another instinct there. Token. So that's a token there in that pillar. I actually got the super hard from the enemy drop. Yes, and you may have saw the barbed shell instinct, which it makes it when an enemy attacks you, it deflects damage back at the attacker. That doesn't work either. At the time of making this video, that instinct doesn't work either, so never get that one. It never works. I don't know why that doesn't work. I'm sure I remembered it working when I first started playing, but I've used it a few times now and it never seems to work. Yeah, that's barbed shell, I think it is. And what it does is it deflects enemy back at the attacker when you're deflects damage back at the attacker. Deflects enemy back at the attacker. Wish it did. It deflects damage back at the attacker when they attack you while hardened. Yeah, like I say, that doesn't work, so do not get that. There's a few instincts that don't work properly. I try and remember them along the way and mention them to you. Yeah, so you've probably noticed everything that you collect, there's more or less something there in the main game. So chests all in same place, pillars and a frog chest sort of spawn where there may have been a frog chest before or a shell. I mean, this pillar here, that's where the Haros shell is in the main game, or it may be because there is a piece of lore there or an etching or something. Yeah, see, boss weakness, you always want to get a boss weakness as well. The hardest battle in the Siege in the DLC is always the last boss, and that's when you have to fight all 4 shells. They're just tanks, they got so much HP. So if you can, if nothing better shows up, always get a boss weakness. That is a great instinct to have. And just up here, this is where we always get the legendary. So in my video for the overpowered seed, I start and we sprint straight up to this pillar. This pillar always with this particular seed and this particular build, you know, HADERN, no shade, and with the katana, epic familiarity, and with the same perks and runic gate. There's legendary. Yeah, this is always here, guard breaker legendary, and as you can see there, it gives it a 30% chance for light attack to basically parry an enemy so they're vulnerable to riposte. So that's great. If you're low in health, just attack an enemy with a few light attacks. And yeah, attack an enemy for a few light attacks. And then you parry them, riposte with a healing riposte and get some HP back. Yeah, so here, harden cooldown, max health. I can increase my max health there, or harden cooldown. I went for max health. I think in the seed, I think I do get harden cooldown legendary, and you'll see how quick it regenerates. It's crazy. It literally regenerates your harden within like a second or two. It's so fast. Yeah, you can see where I'm collecting things. And if you see me looking somewhere, then it's probably because something can spawn there. Like just in the corner over there. There's normally a frog chest in the main game, but sometimes a pillar can spawn there. So just make sure you check there. On the seed, obviously nothing appears. And when it comes to your mortal instincts, most of them are not very good. I mean, because at the end of the day, you're trying to get ready for the end boss fight, because that's the most difficult thing. I mean, it starts off difficult just because you've got poor abilities, but it gets easier as you get all your instincts and mortal instincts and whatnot. But yeah, the end battle is just where not much. Well, it can help depending on what instincts you have. There's always some ability that can make the end boss a little bit easier. But because we're always mainly prepping for the end boss, you just all need to try and get perks, instincts, sorry, revolved around the end boss. So yeah, when it comes to Mortal Instincts, something like fire resistance or poison resistance, the end bosses, they cannot really, you're not going to get that on the end bosses. You really, or for the end bosses, you want base attack or yeah, see boss weakness there. You want base attack or you want unparryable attack resistance, because they do obviously perform attacks that you can't parry, and that will resist them. I think if they're using the smouldering mace, the shell at the end, I think that can inflict you with fire, or a teal, or sorry, whoever's got the hammer and chisel can inflict you with poison, but it won't happen that often. So really, if you've got a chance, you want to focus on runic siphon or parryable attack, base damage, or knockdown resistance is no good one. But runic siphon can help, because if you low on health and find a pillar, getting a lot of HP from that does actually really help. So runic siphon does actually help quite a lot. I don't bother with the tar one too much, just because the tar doesn't really, you're not going to get much tar from enemies. I mean, I'm not killing many enemies, so there's not much point in increasing my tar, but sometimes there's nothing better. And to kill the frogs, yeah, the frogs are going to probably be your worst nightmare on this, outside of the end boss. The frogs, to kill them easy, if you don't know already, just roll into them. Yeah, when the rocks hit you, they explode, do a little bit of damage and poison you. But if you roll into them, it destroys them and it doesn't damage you or poison you. Yeah, so as you gather, most of these mini bosses are all in the same pace that they are in the main game. There are a few different ones, like Evil Baghead. He's a different mini boss. I think he's the only new mini boss actually, Evil Baghead. Yes, I'm going to go for boss weakness again. The regeneration instinct is quite slow. It can help you in a pinch, and I think I've had it at 50% before, and that wasn't even legendary. So I think at legendary, it's probably going to give you like maybe 75% regeneration. It's quite slow, but I mean with it, really, all you need to do is avoid enemies until your health recovers. So it does sort of give you unlimited health, in a way, I guess, if you could get legendary regeneration. But it's quite slow, so it just means it would take a lot of time. Yeah, you gotta be really careful when you're rolling away. You can see here, I'm not rolling around the map. I'm just sort of running, because when you're running around enemies and not fighting them, you need to make sure you've got enough stamina to dodge away from them. Yeah, you gotta make sure you've got enough stamina to dodge away. Yeah, fucking bolts. I hate them. The bolts. I guess these guys ain't too bad, because you can actually hear them coming. There's that little sound effect cue, you know, of a dart flying through the air. But when it comes to the women with the in the Seat of Infinity, they're a pain because they shoot through at you quickly, and I don't think it's any sound effect to them, so it's very hard to dodge them. You just have to roll. This pillar down here, it doesn't always spawn. This pillar is not always here. There we go, super hard. Yeah, that pillar isn't always there. Quite often actually, there's no pillar there, but it's a place you need to check. Yeah, that guard break ability is so great to start with, because right from the get-go, you've got an easy way to get your health back. Yeah, if you see me rotating the camera, guys, it's just because I'm checking somewhere. I'm just showing you where things can spawn. So up that hill, just up them steps, a pillar can spawn up there. And through this tunnel, there's almost always a frog chest through here. And frog chests, by the way, there's not a certain enemies that you have to kill. The orange pillars, I think it's always specific enemies around them. You don't really know how, unless you're used to the seed, you know what enemies that is, because it's always the same on each seed. Yeah, orange pillars is always the same specific enemies which unlock it, which you have to kill. So if you keep running the same seed and you get used to the enemies, you'll know. But with the frog chest, it's any enemies that are within the proximity. So if there's an enemy nearby, you can't open it, but that enemy, if you lure him away from it and then run to it quickly, you'll be able to open it. Because with frog chests, I think it's just, you're not allowed to have enemies within a certain area of it, and it's probably about, if we say you're 6 foot tall, it's probably about 30 foot. No, probably a bit longer. Yeah, probably about a 30-foot proximity around it, a radius. And that's the last item. That's the last item we looted in the Fulgrim. So I've warped to the next area now using a temporal stone, which we got from the pillar. And I've come to Shrine of Ash. I'm basically, every time I do a seed, I basically just do it the same way as the story. I do Fulgrim, Shrine of Ash, Seat of Infinity, and the Crypt area, which I always forget the name. Yeah, I just do it in the same order as the main game. Deep Pockets, the Deep Pockets instinct, by the way, it gives you a certain percent for a ranged enemy to drop a bolt when killed. It doesn't work as well on the current patch when I made this, because I've had it at legendary before, which was a 100% chance, and ranged enemies still didn't drop large bolts. So yes, that's another one that don't work at Deep Pockets. I think any instinct which is related to the enemy dropping something, I don't think they work, because I'm pretty sure there's another one similar to it about enemies dropping something, and I don't think that works either. I forget the name though. So yeah, anything that relates to the enemies dropping anything, do not get it, because it doesn't work. So Shrine of Ash. Shrine of Ash is a nice area actually. I like Shrine of Ash because it's very sort of compressed. Everything is together. You know, it's not spaced out like a Seat of Infinity. You can get through this area very, very fast, and all the items are close. So yeah, you see here I'm running past the thing. This flame guy, I always kill him, because sometimes you can run straight past him and not too much trouble. But if you're going to be running around in that area for a good minute or so, they can mess things up. So that specific one, I always kill him first. And yeah, just a reminder guys, if you've got the same seed, all the enemies will be in the same place, all the items, all the pillars. It's just what instincts you get from pillars that may change if you collect them in a different order, and if you collect in different instincts. So I'll come through here. Yes, you've probably noticed the shortcut doors are open on this. I just get them a few items and then come back through here, just so when we come back around later, we don't have to backtrack all that way. So you've got items. Sometimes a pillar will appear there, by the way. Sometimes a pillar will appear there. So we've got our sarcophagus. Watch out for this loose item near this well, that pit. Be very careful. And this orange pillar, you just got to get rid of these these basic enemies, these monks. Just get rid of the monks. There's 3 monks around it. Don't worry about the knights, just the 3 monks, and then the pillar will be open. Yeah, I don't know why I'm killing him. I should just leave him. Yeah, because these guys do not stun very well. I think I'm just want to show off here now. Do not pick on me. Yeah, serves you right. I think I'm just trying to show him his boss here. Yeah, see, I didn't have to kill them. Just the 3 monks is enough to free this pillar. Yeah, just the 3 monks walking around with clubs. You don't need to worry about the knights. But yeah, got that one. Freeze the stomp. And again, when it comes to stomp, if you can get something better, get it. But if you have to get a stomp, they're not going to help a lot. So there's the orange pillar here. I always get rid of the enemies first, because once you open that sarcophagus there, a load of enemies will spawn in. Yeah, because when you open the sarcophagus, it spawns enemies. It spawns a few enemies around it. So I just want to free up that orange pillar first. Yeah, look at what HP I'm getting. It's awesome. Super hard. Yes, definitely getting super hard. There we go. Open the sarcophagus. And come around here. This pillar here, it will not always spawn. Yeah, this one doesn't always spawn. Another boss weakness. I think at maximum, I think at legendary, that boss weakness gives you 75%, extra damage to bosses, which is awesome. It's almost double damage you'll be doing to the last boss. Pretty cool. And that sarcophagus up them steps. Just be very careful of that, because when you open that one, when you open that sarcophagus, some of the vampires quickly jump down, and you want to roll away. Since you open that sarcophagus up the steps, basically you want to quickly roll away, because normally they jump on you as soon as you recover. Yeah, Vim. Yeah, look how quick he dies. Awesome. Yeah, but you've got to be careful, because he can set you on fire. If he attacks you a few times, he can bring your health down really pretty fast. But there is a shade for killing him 5 times with a certain shell. Forget what shell it is now. But you can get seeds where he spawns in full Grim, just outside the entrance to Shrine of Ash. You know, to fight him a bit quicker. Yeah, so not much here. Yeah, eventually you'll just start getting upgrades. You'll just start getting upgrades once you've unlocked most of the categories. Yeah, all you pretty much get is upgrades. So here, yeah, I'm going to kill that flame monster, that cauldron monster, whatever you call them. Down here, this pillar down here, sometimes it's an orange pillar. Yeah, sometimes this one's orange. Harden cooldown, legendary. Look at that, 75% legendary. Yeah, if you get harden cooldown legendary, take it. You'll see just how quick my harden refills. Yeah, always get rid of the vampires around that chest, because normally you'll get attacked while you are opening it. And if you've not noticed already, sometimes when you're going to open a chest, you can harden during the opening process, and it will stop you from being interrupted. There we go, that's super hard. Super hard, basically invincibility. Nothing can damage you. Look at this. You see that gauge at the bottom left, a sort of a line around it, slowly depleting. That indicates how long it's left. And basically, every time you harden and release the harden, your harden will reset, and each time it resets, that gives it a chance to trigger. And when it triggers, there'll be a small circle in the corner indicating it. So the next time you harden, you'll get that invincible super hard. And the great thing about super hard is if you find a particular enemy really difficult, you can just back away, keep hardening until you trigger that super harden, and then you can run in, trigger it, and then just kill him while in invincibility mode without any danger. Yeah, you can't skip cutscenes. Even though you've watched all these cutscenes, no matter how many seeds you've done, you still have to watch all these cutscenes. I don't know why they didn't let us skip them, actually. Or why didn't they just remove these cutscenes altogether? Because you see them all in the main game, and you can't skip them in the main game. So I guess it's part of the fight. So Imrod, yeah, Imrod's the easiest boss, I think. Yeah, he's got very, very low HP, Imrod. But look how quick he dies. Yeah, the special attacks with the Axe Katana, they are a bit glitchy, so I try not to use them. I use it then by mistake. Because sometimes when I'm pressing R2, I'll harden at the same time. And because my finger hasn't quite left R2 yet, it'll do a special attack. So, awesome. With super hard, it's pretty awesome. But this guy, he can kick you, and if he kicks you while you're hard, it will knock you. It won't damage you, but it will knock you back. So just bear that in mind. And he's pretty much dead. Can you see how quick my hardening is cooling down? It's like mega fast. Mega fast. So that's Imrod. Pretty easy. Pretty simple. Yes, there's not really much use I can use there. If it's got a low percent, I mean, it's not going to trigger that often if it's got a low percent. And the thing with them instincts, first you have to get rid of post, and then after the riposte, a lot of them you have to kill the enemy with the riposte, so that they're quite hard to even fulfill the requirements for them instincts before you even trigger the percentage of it actually happening. So yeah, them ones aren't too great, but I guess I didn't really have any other choice. So here at the end of each boss, obviously you can pick a token for the next area, what area you want to go to next. Like I say, because I always do it in the main game order, I always go to City of Infinity next, and you've got a runic gate there as well if you want to buy something from the runic gate. Yeah, I always go City of Infinity next. I don't know why I've done it this way. Maybe I'm just boring. I don't know. I've always done it the same as the main game. I guess I'm just used to doing it that way. And but City of Infinity is probably the worst area just because it's so long. It's so long to do. It's so big. But City of Infinity, there is one particular area which I do not know how to get to. It's a teleporter, and I'm not sure if it's a glitch, like the developers forgot to link a teleporter to it or not. I'll point it out to you when we get to it. So yeah, I did say at the start of the video we're collecting everything, but in City of Infinity there's one particular item and one frog chest. It's always a frog chest there, never a pillar. Luckily, because if the token spawned in that pillar, we'd be in trouble. But yeah, it's always a loose item and a frog chest, and I have no idea how to get there. I've checked every single teleporter. I've checked every teleporter many times, just in case it's like a random chance of it warping you there, and I just can't get there. So yeah, I think that it's either a really well hidden teleporter, or the devs just forgot to link one to it. So what you'll find in teleporters now, some of them will warp you to a random teleporter, and some of them, not many, will warp you to a very specific one. This is where we want to get, by the way, where I just sort of looked around with the camera. I always sort of start in this area, so warp until you get to a place what I do. Yeah, the teleporters, that one I went in, it always sort of take you to a random one, and there's a chance it may take you to a specific teleporter which will not warp you back to any, because there's one teleporter in this first area which sends you to like a fixed location, and you can actually get sent to that teleporter randomly, and then once you get sent to it, you cannot warp to any others because it always warps you to the same one. If that happens and you just can't get to where I am now, just run to another teleporter and then warp through that until you get to here. But it'd be great if you can start from where I am, guys, just because I've got like a little route I take through this, and it would just be easier just for you to keep on track and make sure you don't miss anything. Yeah, so when it comes to items on City of Infinity, other than that one I mentioned that I missed just because I don't know how to get to it, I think I get everything. I'm sure there's been times when I'm pretty sure there's an item in a spot, but then I can't find that spot again. So I don't know if sometimes I just can't find that spot again, or whether it was a enemy drop. But more or less, I'm pretty sure, or pretty confident, this is almost every item in this area that I'm going to be showing you along. So these red mages, if you come across red mages and you have to fight them, always try to kill them first, because you can see in the bottom left hand corner there, by the way, I've got super hard available right now. You can see it in the bottom corner there. That number 3, by the way, next to the little icon, that's the flute I've got. I've got the simple loot. I should have mentioned this at the start of the video. I've got a simple loot that gives you an extra 30 HP, and I think it's the best one really. You buy them back in Fulgrim Tower. I'm in the hub area. They're just near where the Unchained is normally on the wall, and it's 25,000 this one costs. But I normally get all the Runic Gate perks first and buy that one last. But yeah, as long as you don't use the loot, it always gives you a permanent buff. As long as you don't use them for uses. But yeah, them red mages, always, if you have to kill any, if there's a group of enemies that you have to kill because there's an orange pillar around, or a frog chest, always kill the red mages first, because they can summon up them sort of them spiked. They summon up them spikes, and if they hit you, they can do a lot of damage, and they also knock you back quite far. So if you're near a ledge, be very careful. If you get hit by that near a ledge, it could knock you off if you're unlucky. I think that might happen to me here, or is it on my fanning or my obsidian run? I'm pretty sure that happened on one of my last few runs. So if it's not this one, it'd be one of my next ones I'm going to upload, Foundling or Obsidian. But I think I got hit by it, and it's got very close to knocking me off a ledge because I was getting a bit reckless. When I come through this area, I always just, if I can, kill the enemies here. You don't need to. You don't need to kill them here, but there's a chest here and a loose item on the ground. So, yeah, there's an extra loose item there because the bigger white items there drops from enemies. Yeah, there's normally always a single loose items on the ground there and a chest. So I just get rid of the enemies just so I can open the chest safely. There's always items there on them corpse. Now up here, be very, very careful. If you got super hard, get it ready and just run in. But if you're quick, if you just run in. Yeah, if you just run in, if you're quick, you can normally run in, get a pillar and then sprint out before anything gets a chance to actually aggro to you. Yeah, because first when the enemies notice you, there's like a second or two before they actually start attacking. If you're quick, you can run in there, get out before they sort of start attacking. And by the way, if you do die, there is a little, you can back up your safe, by the way. You can back up your safe, so if you do die, you can just go into cloud, back up your safe. This teleporter always takes you to the same one. This is one I was talking about. You can get brought to this teleporter randomly, but if you did get brought to it, you can't leave it because it always warps you to the same one. It always warps you up here, where it's a frog chest. Yes, if you did get taken to this at the start, just run up the steps to another teleporter. But yeah, when it comes to backing up your save file, you can actually, if you press options and close, quit and close the main menu, if you reload your virtual cycle save, you'll just respawn where you were, but you always respawn at the last Cesta Genessa you passed, or the most recent one that you sort of passed. Yeah, each time you reach a Cesta, if you really wanted and to be safe, you could quit, back up your save, and then just reload back and resume back where you were. But if you die unexpectedly, there's another little trick. Every sort of 10 minutes or so, the game, whether you have PS Plus or not, the game will back up your save from within the game. And I just want to show you briefly here. So I've just come out of game for a moment, out of the seed. If you look there, it did say on my seed, it said I was at Fulgrim Tower. But if I restore save, it'll actually, and go back into the cycle. I'm actually back at Seat of Infinity now. Look, there we go, Seat of Infinity. So even though I was at Fulgrim Tower because I died, I went back into main menu and I restored save, and that actually takes me back to Seat of Infinity because you won't know exactly how far it puts you back. Like I say, the game will back up your save every sort of 10 minutes onto that sort of main menu save, but yeah, that's another trick. If you do die, just quickly restore save if you didn't back it up, and go back to where you were. And if you want to know why, the game has its own sort of built-in save restore feature, because yeah, not many games have that, do they? You normally have to do it yourself via PS Plus. It's because this game, your saves can be corrupted quite easily, and once your save becomes corrupted, you cannot access it, and so you sort of lose your whole save game, and that's what the save restore feature is for. Yeah, in case your save gets corrupted, that's why it's there, and so it will never be removed. They've put it in place to prevent the corruption, and the corruption bug, to prevent that basically from messing up your whole game. That's why the save backup feature is there. And down here is the hidden teleporter. I bet a lot of you didn't know about this. I only found out about this recently. Very, very well hidden. So it's an item here. Yeah, loose item and a frog chest. So I did loot that frog chest. I was very quick. And if you're hard enough over here, yeah, it's normally that enemy right below you. He's just a little sitting duck there waiting. They put him there on purpose, I think, so you can just smash him into a million pieces. And yeah, over here we've got another frog chest. Yeah, so always, if you can, always go for the mages first. The black ones are not too bad. It's the red ones you've got to watch out for. But they can still be annoying because they're sort of ranged. They're like a ranged enemy, aren't they? Yes, Seat of Infinity, once we're through here, we'll get through the next area a lot quicker. Shrine of Ash and the Crypt are very quick areas. It's Seat of Infinity, which takes up all your time, and the last boss at the end takes quite a while. Now this pillar here, sometimes this one will be orange, and it's a real pain in the ass when this one is orange. That critical kick, by the way, critical kick, it works on the end boss. So if you do not have really any other means to heal, I mean, we've got guard breaker. Guard breaker just only work on basic enemies, but critical kick, it works on the end boss. So if you can get critical kick as high as you can, so it triggers quite often. If you use a kick on the end boss, it's got a chance of making them, of parrying them basically, and then you can do an empowered riposte and get a lot of your HP back. So if you've got loads of superior moonshines or inferior moonshines stocked up, it can be great if you've got a critical kick, because you can basically use one, kick one of the end bosses if you're low on HP. There'll be a chance to parry it, and then if it's parried, you can just do an empowered riposte and get some HP back. So there's a token there, token off the archives, token off the archives. So yeah, it is random. It just spawned as a bonus. Just spawn it as a bonus. That frog chest is always there, and there's always two enemies here next to it. There's a loose item here. Some of these items I know I am collecting very quickly without saying anything, but the good thing about this is you can see them on screen. There's an item there I missed, but I do go back for it in a second. I did forget, but I do go back to it. Yeah, so there's normally always a few frogs jumping around here. Yeah, so there's the last one. That's frog chest. Now, up that ramp. Yeah, see, I remembered it. I'm going to it now. Up this ramp, there's normally always a pillar or a frog chest up here. If there's a frog chest, a lot of the time I have to kill there's an enemy almost directly beneath this bridge. We did pass him earlier. And did I kill him earlier? I can't quite recall now. But normally he is in the range of his frog chest. And if you don't kill him, you can't open this. I think I did. But as you can see, I couldn't open that to begin with. But once that lady in red walked so far away, then I could. Yeah, just beneath that bridge, there's normally an enemy, which is normally just within the proximity of the frog chest. So if you've killed all the enemies around that frog chest, it's still not opening. It may be the enemy directly below the bridge, where we picked an item from earlier. Now it's the item on here, where we're going to drop off, and that's it for this bottom. That's it for this bottom part of Seat of Infinity. That's it for all the bottom part. Now we're going to move up the steps, get a few items up the steps, and then move into Dimgate. So I've just warped to one of the teleporters now, basically, which are basically up the steps on the way to Dimgate. I've just warped to one of them, and we're just going to get the items or pillars or whatnot in this area that sort of branch out from the stairs as you make your way up to Dimgate. Yeah, that's the attack you need to be careful for. It stuns you for ages. Luckily, I think once you're stunned, I don't think you can take any damage. Can't quite recall now. But there's an orange pillar there, so we've got to kill the enemies. Well, that one looks red to me. But the main attacks you need to watch out for, I mean, you got to be very careful of that, but also the hammer dudes, the faceless clerics. You've got to be really careful of them, because if they catch you with that hammer, wow. Fucking hell, that can almost kill you instantly. I've been killed, I think I've been at full HP, and just been caught by the hammer combo on the faceless clerics, and they've just completely obliterated me. So be very careful around the hammer guides. Yeah, I should have said this right at the start of this area. But yeah, just be careful around them. On your Obsidian run, they can definitely kill you in one combo if they catch you there. Yeah, because normally if they catch you, they knock you down, and then once they knock you down, they do a combo, and you just can't do anything. You're just stuck. You're knocked down. You can't hide or nothing, and they'll just keep piling into you like no mercy. They show absolutely no mercy, them guys. Frog chest there. We'll be getting in a minute to get rid of these two perps. And yeah, I'm going for Runic Siphon. If there's nothing better, I'm just going to get Runic Siphon. The good thing about Runic Siphon is it probably mainly comes in. I mean, it helps throughout because every time you rest a pillar, you get more HP. But at the end, right at the end, before the last boss, you've got to face whatever your last temple was. After that boss, you've got no ways to heal, and then you've got the last 4 shells. So you do get one instinct though from the last of the 3 story bosses that you kill. So if you got Runic Siphon at quite high, when you do take the instinct from the last of the 3 story bosses that you face, you get quite a lot of HP back. So it is good to have Runic Siphon for that as well. It's just good to have in general. You can't get mushrooms on this, but there is a spot right at the end of the game, right at the end of the seed, where you can find 1 mushroom. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a glitch. Because there's no other mushrooms in the game, in the DLC, apart from this little mushroom. He's fought basically everything. He's fought all the ice, and he's overcome all odds, and he's managed to grow. He's managed to find a little spot where he can grow and blossom. This one little mushroom is in the crypt area right at the end, but it doesn't appear until after you defeated the boss. Strangely, I think there's a little glitch. I think they've left it in, and yeah, you can get that mushroom, and potentially, if you wanted, mushrooms take 5 minutes to respawn. So you could get this mushroom, leave the game on for 5 minutes, get it again, leave the game on 5 minutes, get it again. I mean, it'll probably be patched out eventually, but if it's still there, you'll see when we get to it. If it's still there, you could potentially just keep farming it. If you've got time to spend, you could farm a item which will give you health back without any enemies around. Because normally all the items on this that give you health back, you need an enemy for it to trigger. But that will be the only health item which you can use without any enemies around. Like I say, it is a bit of a glitch. I don't think it's supposed to be there. I think it's an oversight. This pillar doesn't always appear here, by the way. Yeah, this pillar doesn't always appear here. There's always an item there. I think that's mortal token in the main game. I've got 53 mortal tokens there. Can you see? I've got quite a lot. I'm saving them all up for the Obsidian run. Obsidian run. If you want a bit of a look ahead to how much you need on my Obsidian run, when I do it here, when I recorded it, I used about 20 mortal tokens, probably more, maybe closer to 30, and I normally use the same amount of ornate tokens. So there's Sesta there. Just make sure you've gone reasonably close to her. So if you do die, and if you do manage to continue by restoring your save, or you backed it up, you respawn at her. And even if you're close game, you'll respawn at her. Close game and reload. Yeah, on the Obsidian run, because you only have 100 health, no more, there's no other way to increase your health other than the simple loot, which gives you an extra 30 HP. So it's basically an extra 30%. Yes, wow, almost died there. Yes, no other way to increase your health. So probably all the time in the Obsidian run, when you're facing a tough enemy, you need to always have a mortal token active and a ornate token active. So if you get into trouble, you can just harden. Get hit while hardened will heal you for whatever damage. Whatever damage that attack would have done is how much you heal, I think, or it's a percentage of it. You're going to make sure these are maxed, by the way. So hopefully you've been through the main game already. And obviously ornate tokens. If you get hit while you have to get hit while hardened to trigger it, and then your next attack, the next attack an enemy does on you will not deal any damage. So yeah, on your Obsidian run, you do need to have ornate tokens or mortal tokens always active. Freeze and Stomp. Is it Freeze and Stomp that I have? I got a boss weakness then. But it's one attack, one instinct, sorry, well, 2 instincts. I'm not sure if I've mentioned them already. When it comes to dodge instincts and roll instincts, by the way, if you play as Eredrim, he cannot dodge. Basically, when you press circle, most of the time you'll do a dodge where you sort of skip forward and then you'll roll. They're both different evade techniques. They're not the same. They're different evade techniques. When you skip forward, that's a dodge, and when you roll, obviously that's a roll. And they're actually categorized differently in the game as well. If you've got an instinct and it says something like increase your dodge stamina, or every time you dodge there's a chance of freezing the enemy. If you're Aerodrim, he doesn't have a dodge. If you're Aerodrim, you cannot use them instincts. The game still gives them to you. I don't know why. If you play as Aerodrim, the game will still give them to you, but so it is sort of a waste of a instinct. Yes, but if you're Aerodrim and you get a instinct increasing your dodge ability, it will not work because he doesn't do a dodge. Aerodrim doesn't dodge because he's basically a tank. And if you've got an ability, if you've got an instinct which increases your roll, like I say, that will just affect your roll. So if you're Aerodrim, your first one is always roll. Roll and instincts are actually pretty good for Aerodrim because he rolls first time when you press circle. You can trigger more often. Sometimes there's a pillar there. When there is, it's always an orange pillar I found. Yeah, so just be careful with that. And down here, sometimes there's a frog chest here. That's why I came down here. Sometimes there's a frog chest. So this teleporter will always take you to a random one. All these random teleporters, it will take you up here as well. Normally you need a hidden teleporter to get up here. There's a chest, there's a pillar across the way there. Sometimes that'll be an orange pillar and there'll be enemies guarding it. So that one can be tricky just because it's very easy to fall off here. But this is where that teleporter is, which I do not know how to reach. And I'm going to show you guys here. This one I don't know how to reach. Yeah, over there I'm going to go into photo mode to show you. Yeah, this teleporter here. Yeah, you see you got a frog chest there and a loose item. I've just been through the teleporter which normally takes you there. I just went through that probably like a minute ago. The one that takes you out in the main game. It's normally a quenching acid there in the main game. But I do not know how to get to it here. And the teleporter that normally brings you up here to where we are now, there's no teleporter there in the DLC. There's nothing there. So if you find out how to get to that teleporter, guys, which I just mentioned, please let me know in the comments. And I'll pin that comment for others to see. Because I don't know how to get there. And that's the only thing I don't know how to reach. I think, like I said, I think it's an oversight. And they forgot to link a teleporter to it. Because I've been in every teleporter and I just can't reach it. If you let me know, if you do find a way there and you let me know, I'll be able to let you know if that did work that way before, or if it's something I missed, or it's something that's been patched. I should be able to tell. So now we just warp through the teleporter and teleport us to sort of elevator one. I'm going to come over here. Be very careful getting this chest. Be very, very careful. I've got super hard ready, as you can see, so I knew I was safe. If it's about to hit me, I just use super hard. Yeah, be very careful getting that chest. If you don't have super hard, you may just want to lure the enemies away and then go for the chest, because you do not want to get knocked off or caught in battle there. So I've got to kill these few enemies because there's a orange pillar over there, but I'm using super hard here to get rid of them quickly. These enemies with the predator looking enemies, you've got to be careful with these, or the enemies with the sort of spears, or obviously the hammer dudes. Yeah, they don't interrupt this easy, but the red chicks and the crossbow chicks, they interrupt quite easy, so they've got shitty armor. So you can normally attack these without much danger, I'd say. But back to what I was saying about the rolling and the dodge instincts. With the roll instincts, if and the dodging one, there's a dodging instinct where each time you dodge, there's a chance to freeze the enemies, or poison them, or make a blast explosion that deals damage, or set them on fire. If you do get them, and you've got a choice, you always want to go for the freezing one. The freezing one is the best, I find, because you only use dodge when you're trying to dodge an enemy, of course, don't you? Yeah, you only use dodge when you try and dodge an enemy. But if you freeze the enemy at the same time, obviously it gives you sort of a free window to get away. So with the dodge ones, if it's there, pick the one that freezes the enemy when you dodge away. That's the best one I found, because the others just do very little damage. But that's awesome because it gives you a chance to get away better. And with the rolling, with the dodge, rolling, with the rolling one, when it comes to the instincts for the rolling one, there's one called dagger throw or something. With the rolling one, basically that'll like lob a projectile. But the dagger one it can be very overpowered if you get a legendary. Because if I remember correctly, I've had it legendary before, but I can't quite recall. I think it was 90% chance to trigger. Every time we roll, there's a chance to basically lob daggers at the enemy that deal like 45 damage each. And the thing about it is it's a little bit glitched at the moment. I'm not sure if this is fixed or intended, but it's a little bit glitched. It says throw daggers at the nearest enemy. So I'm not sure if it's supposed to lock onto the nearest enemy, or sometimes it don't work right. But each dagger can do 45 damage at legendary. And by the way, the mango chest isn't down there. If you're wondering about the mango chest, it's not there. I've spent time looking. Yeah, I've looked. Yeah, be very careful there, by the way. There's 2 enemies that drop down, and he got me. Yeah, be very careful here. Yeah, dagger roll. Each dagger can do 45 damage at legendary, and you've got like 90% chance to trigger, I think. And you throw about 10 daggers. I think it's about 10 daggers you throw it out. It's sort of like a circular radius around from you. They're just fly out in every area. By the way, if you knock an enemy to his death, even though you still get tar if you knock him off a ledge, it won't register for a pillar. You actually have to properly kill them with your they have to die at your hand. If they die by falling off a ledge, just run away, slow respawn, and then run back. Normally they'll respawn. You still get tar there, so you could probably use it as a way to farm tar actually. But yeah, you actually need to kill them by your hand to open a pillar or a frog chest. Yeah, and with the dagger, even if you can't attack, the thing about it is, when you dodge an enemy, there's a chance to basically deal damage with them. But the thing that makes it overpowered is there's a rare chance that like I said, I'm not sure if it's a bug or not, but because in the description it just say lob daggers at the nearest enemy, so I'm not sure if it's supposed to all go to the nearest enemy or not. I'm not sure if it's a bug or not, but sometimes every single dagger will hit the same enemy if you're close enough. And I shit you not, on the last boss, I've had the dagger roll at legendary, and I've literally rolled, triggered the dagger roll ability, and I've literally done like 800 damage in with one roll, like 800 damage, because every dagger hit the enemy. I was like, what the fuck? His health bar just melted. I'd love to be able to show it to you, but I'm not sure where it was. So I have got all my footage recorded, but yeah, I literally did 800 damage to an enemy with his dagger roll. So if you get dagger roll, guys, try to upgrade that. If you can't, super hard is the best, but if you can't upgrade super hard, and there's nothing like better, dagger roll is another great ability. So like I say, at legendary, each dagger does 45. You lob about 10 daggers, and there's a chance for every single dagger to hit the same enemy. So you can imagine 10 or whatever times 45 over damage it's currently at. Adds up to a lot of damage. So that's in the main game, that's a upgrade for the hammer and chisel. That teleporter always takes you there. There's one more item here, just over here. And that's it. I don't think I've missed any items, guys, in the City of Infinity. There's a Cesta. Just make sure you run close to her. So if you do die or anything, or you need to quit, that when you reload, you respawn back nearer. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I think I've gotten everything other than that teleporter I said I don't know how to reach. I think I've gotten everything in the game. Sorry, in the City of Infinity. So make sure your harden is reset before you lift up that chalice. I think in the main game I've hardened it before I lifted it before. I don't know why, just probably being a fucking complete idiot. And I couldn't harden on the way down, and it killed me. So this boss, I think a lot of people consider this one of the hardest bosses. I don't find him too bad actually, this boss. I find the guy in the ice on the main game, I find the guy in the crypt the hardest. But in the DLC, out of the main bosses, main story bosses, maybe he is one of the hardest actually in the DLC. In the main game, I think the Crypt boss is the hardest, the ice boss. But yeah, in the DLC, out of the main game bosses, this is perhaps the hardest one of the three. Just because he's a bit hard to stagger. When you stagger him, he can still damage you because he hides behind a shield and his little mini-me throws bolts at you. And in his second stage, he doesn't give many windows to attack him. His second stage, it's best to play safe. If you get low in health, best to play safe. In fact, it's probably best to play safe from the get-go. On his second stage, basically after he's done an attack, he'll only be sort of he'll only rest for like a second or two before he moves into another attack combo on his second stage. Unless you stagger him, it's always a second or two. I mean, if you've got super hard, it doesn't matter because nothing can damage you. But yeah, if you don't have super hard, it's best just do one attack at a time. If you're doing the running, jumping attack like I am with the Axitana, and you don't have super hard, what I do in that case, because the running attack, it does take a bit longer, it's a longer animation, and you can only be attacked before you recover and dodge away. I normally wait for my harder to reset, and then I wait for him to finish an attack combo, then I do running attack, and then after I finish last hit, then I harden, and then he'll hit me, then I'll roll away. Because that takes a bit longer. When he finishes his combo in the second stage, you've just got enough time to attack him with one normal attack and then dodge away before he goes into another combo. But with the running attack, because it takes longer, you won't have time to get away. So that's why I say, if you're doing a running attack and you don't have super hard, wait for him to finish combo, quickly do a running attack, harden at the end of it. Once he hits you, dodge away, wait for it to reset and repeat. That's a way to do it safely if you don't have super hard. If you have super hard, you just go invincible mode and pummel him, punish him. So last area now, guys, to finish before the four seashells. And yeah, this area is pretty quick. This is a pretty quick area. Yeah, I don't know if I have that freezing ability for rolling. Because I'm talking to you, when I was recording this, I did plan to actually watch what I get and say, right, just get this item here, get this item here, get this pillar there. I did mean to mention every single thing, but because I'm talking a long way and give you other tips, I'm not actually having time to keep stopping and mention things. Sometimes in this tunnel, I mean not in the seed, but some seeds there's a frog chest here, and sometimes one of the enemies just outside the tunnel where we just came from is in the range of this, and you will need to kill him in order to open frog chest if there is one here. That's why sometimes I like to kill a few enemies just before I come through here. Not in every seed, but just down them steps I've come through this way. There's most of the time there'll be an orange pillar, and this enemy overlooking is normally, you normally have to kill him to open it. Yes, sometimes the orange pillar just down there. So I just want to lure that enemy away, because as I mentioned earlier, if you knock an enemy off a ledge, it doesn't count as a kill towards the removing the orange, basically opening up a pillar. It doesn't count if you knock them off a ledge. You have to actually kill them properly. So there is the orange pillar, and I don't normally come this way. I normally go along the top way first, come down the path past here, and then come back on myself up here. Yeah, I guess I've done it this way at this time. Yeah, so there's an orange pillar there. That pillar, there's not always a pillar there. Not always. I found it's sort of like a 50-50 chance if there's a pillar here or not. But most time with this one it's always orange. And yeah, these enemies are pretty annoying because if you hit the shield, it deflects your attack. But you can just hide and wait for them to attack you. Base damage plus 10. Plus 10. Base damage plus 11. Yeah, on Foundling I get plus 13, and on Obsidian I get plus 17 on this same seed. Yeah, if you can use the same seed, guys, it's great advice for your Foundling and Obsidian runs, because you'll begin to know where everything is on that particular seed in regards to enemy placements and what type of enemy is where, and it just makes it a lot easier if you know what to expect. Yeah, so the enslaved Grisha. Yeah, you should know him from the main game. Each time, the ice cores that drop from the ceiling, by the way, if you didn't know, you see that one there, dagger roll? That's that one I was talking about, dagger roll, where when you roll, there's a chance of daggers at the enemy. Yeah, it's only when you roll, you have to dodge and then roll. It's only when you do the roll. That's what I said, Aerodrim is good because he's good for the roll instincts, because he always rolls first time. He doesn't dodge beforehand. Yeah, with the enslaved Grisha, if you didn't know, the ice cores from the ceiling only fall down when he sort of hits the floor. When he hits the floor hard. So you probably notice they're not always falling down, and sometimes they just seem to fall down randomly. It's when he hits the floor. That's why I fall down when he dies as well, because I guess it's when he sort of collapses onto the floor, it obviously makes a vibration in the room and it makes the ice cores fall down. But in the boss area as well, where there's that item in the boss area in the corner, sometimes a pillar can spawn there, by the way. Yeah, sometimes a pillar can spawn there. Sometimes a pillar can spawn just back there, where I just dropped down. Yeah, just here where I'm looking now, sometimes a pillar can spawn in the corner there. Sometimes a pillar can spawn in the corner. And you can drop down here. There's normally a congealed tire here. And I don't always come down this way. I normally come a different way when I do this. But when you get a congealed tar, you can look back on yourself just near the entrance. I mean, not in this seed, but I'm sure about a seed where a pillar has spawned up by the entrance. Yeah, so normally there's two paths to take down to the bottom of the crypt. And but eventually you will reach a point where sort of both the paths merge. They merge into one. And normally that is where I normally go down one side, go down one of the paths, and then when they merge, I come up the other path and just get all the items on that path, and then obviously go back and carry on. But this time, yeah, I don't normally do this way. I normally do the other path first and then come back on this one, back up this one. But yeah, this time I just came down this way, get the instincts in a different order, just see if I got anything different, I guess. But after doing this, I did realise. You see here, I've got poisonous, fiery dodge, and explosive. Sometimes you get like freeze dodge. We don't have it here, but if you got freeze dodge, that's the best one you take, because it's chance to freeze the enemies when you dodge. Yeah, I didn't get freeze dodge. I do normally get freeze dodge on this run. But if you took the other path first and then took this path second, basically came back up this one, that normally does work better, and that is normally what you'll see me do in the Foundling and Obsidian run. This frog chest, sometimes that's a pillar, but it's almost always two vampires which will drop down from the ceiling there. So you just want to run to the frog chest, just wait a second for them to drop down, just so they don't fall on you. Yeah, and just be careful on. Yeah, he's one. Yeah, see, I was going up this path, but if you come down this path, this path I'm going up now, if you do this one first, so basically you'll be coming down this one. The vampires, they drop down ahead of you, so you see them coming. But the way I came up it. They sort of seem to drop on me. But yeah, I've gone down one side and come up this side, but normally I come down this side and up the other side before I head back down. I don't know why I did it this way. Oh yeah, like I said, it's just to see if there's any change to the instinct, see if I got anything better. But I think I actually got worse, because I do normally get freeze dodge, but I didn't get it on this one. So I'm showing you all the items are. Yeah, you can see where I'm collecting everything. So here's normally always a frog. This is normally always a frog chest. Yeah, it's almost always a frog chest, this one. Yep, and I think I forgot to mention earlier, but if you remember where I lobbed in the small edit where I showed you about restoring the safe, I did die just after that. Yeah, that's why there's whoa, wow. Do not do that. Wow. I remember that actually. Fuck. The thing is, sometimes I'm running through it so fast, and muscle memory is just so used to running through it. Sometimes I do forget about little drops by that, and I almost died there. Be very careful there. I was very close to not making that. You can make that jump, and you can make that jump with more ground, covering more ground, so it's not as close as what it was for me there. I did do that jump pretty lame, but normally you just want to go down the path there just to be safe, because you don't want to fall down there and fuck up your run when you're so close to the end. So close to the end. So yeah, I'm going through all these tunnels there, guys, just to make sure we get all the loot. Yeah, sorry, that death I was mentioning. Yeah, I died at Sea of Infinity. I was strafing around one of the big faceless clerks with the hammers, and I was strafing around him, and all of a sudden I just fell off. I didn't realise how close I was to the edge. Fuck. And yeah, but luckily I managed to restore my save. So that instance you saw me show the footage of me restoring my save. I did actually restore my save there, and I actually had to get back to where I was, and I just put in the edit there. Everything was still the same. I did mention it there. I was just talking about that and I forgot to mention it. I just got super hard upgrade again. Unfortunately, I don't get epic super hard here or even legendary. But if you get legendary super hard, guys, you've basically broken the game. Yeah, if you get legendary super hard, then you should have no trouble with whatever seed or whatever layout you get, enemy layout or whatever, because you can just harden before any encounter. You can just trigger super hard before you go into it. And super hard, it doesn't say this in the description, by the way, and I should have mentioned this when I first mentioned super hard, but the higher the rarity and the higher the upgrade for it, the longer it will last. Yeah, so not only does it increase the chance for it to trigger, it also increases how long it lasts. If you manage to get legendary, super hard will last, I shit you not, for about 60 seconds. It's fucking mad. It's mad. It's so broken. I love it. I love super hard. Such an overpowered instinct. Yeah, super hard is awesome. If you get legendary, it'll trigger almost all the time. I think it's like a 75% chance to trigger, and it will last for about a minute. So it's honestly, if you get super hard legendary, it's an awesome perk. It's just getting it. If you could get a seed in Fulgrim, where you could get super hard legendary in Fulgrim, basically break the game. Yeah, if you got sort of 3 or 4 instincts, pillars that you can run straight to, and they always give you the same instincts, similar to my overpowered seed short video, where we can run straight to a specific pillar and it always gives us legendary. Yeah, if you can get a seed where you know exactly what pillars to run to get super hard legendary, that'd be a pretty overpowered seed. It would. Yeah, so other than the instinct from killing the boss, that's the last pillar we find before the end boss, the 4 shells, the 4 seashells. Obviously you'll get an instinct when you defeat Tarsus. Yeah, Tarsus in the main game, he's my hardest boss in the main game. He's easy in the DLC. He's very easy in the DLC. Well, I guess with the Axitana, actually, yeah, with the Axitana he's easy, I guess, because you stagger him so quickly. Yeah, it made me wonder what it'd be like in the main game if you had the Axitana beforehand. The problem with in the main game is if you do no shell run, you can't use the Axitana for that, because you have to get HADERN Shell to unlock the Axitana, and HADERN Shell automatically equips, unfortunately, and it voids no shell. So it's a shame they've made it so the Axitana isn't available on a no shell run. Yeah, in the main game. That would have been nice to have done that for the Axe Tanner. So Tarsus the first martyr. He always starts off with 2 or 3 dashes. It's always 2 or 3. The third one is random. He might do a third, he may not. Just be ready, just in case. But once he's done them, he'll sort of materialise in front of you. And I've got super hard, so he's got no chance. Look how quick his health bar's just fucking melting. Right, I'm super hard, so I don't even have to dodge out way of this. Yeah, normally you have to get out of the way of this because it'll do a lot of damage and freeze you. But with super hard, I don't need to. And now he's about to do that attack where he makes all the eyes come up from the ground, and that can freeze you as well. You normally have to get away. But with super hard, I don't need to dodge. And the Axe Tanner as well, it staggers him so quickly. I keep hardening because I'm trying to trigger super hard, of course. There we go. He's dead. If I say, might as well skate away. There we go. No chance. Yeah, because I've got hardened cooldown, legendary. Even though super hard is only at common, because my hardened cooldown, because I cool down so quick, I can trigger. I can actually try to trigger super hard twice. Well, I guess 75% more often. So it actually improves the chances of super hard as well. So if you cannot get super hard like epic or legendary, the second best thing is to increase your hardened cooldown, because you have more chance to trigger super hard in that instance. So over here is the mushroom. I'm going to show you the mushroom, and here it is, the welt cap. There it is, defied all odds and managed to grow in ice. The welt cap, yeah, that's the only welt cap here. Like I say, I think that's a glitch. I think it may be removed eventually. I don't think it's supposed to be there, but if that's still there, potentially you could just keep farming that. Like every 5 minutes one will grow back. And I guess on your foundling and obsidian run, if you get this far and you've got no means to heal, you can just sit there, well, not sit there, but you can just wait there, keep stocking up on the mushrooms. You would need a lot because they don't heal for much. I think it's only, is it 45 health or 30, something like that. Yeah, but that is a possibility. So this siege, you always fight the same enemies. The order, I think it's Eredrim first, and then I think it's Teal and Haros, and then Solomon last. There is a trophy related for defeating each variant of every corrupted shell on this last boss. And what that means, it just means the last battle. So you've got to fight all 4 shells here. You fight a solo battle, which is right now we're doing Eredrim. After this we'll do a duo battle where you fight 2 at once, and then we'll fight the last one by himself. It's only that last fight which counts, and you basically need each shell to be on that last fight. So here we're going to get Solomon on the last fight, and then you also need to do a seed with Haros on the last fight, Eredrim on the last fight, and Teal on the last fight. But you have to do 7 seeds anyway for every single seed. Yeah, because you have to get all the true nectar seeds, and to do all that you have to complete a cycle 7 times. And because you need all the shades as well, basically what you want to do, I don't think I need to explain this fight too much. I'm using super hard. Yeah, basically what you want to do is you want to complete a seed with each of the 5 main shells. You got Haros, Eredrim, Solomon and Teal. You do one with HADERN as well. That's 5 cycles complete, and 1 with each of the main shells, because you have to unlock all shades as well, and the corrupted shades only unlock when you complete a cycle with that shell. And then 361 you do foundling, which you have to complete one with foundling, so you have to unlock all his shades of course, and one of them is completing a cycle. And then the last one you do, the 7th cycle, with the obsidian shell shade. That's a shade basically for the foundling, because there's a trophy connected to that shade specifically. Okay, yeah, so I'm used to super hard. So this is fairly simple. Um, all I need to do really is if I want to play it safe, I can just keep dodging away, wait for super hard to trigger again, and then just get an attacks. Yeah, they dodge away quite. If you fought Hayden in the main game, the Hayden battle to unlock the Axe Tanner, the last fight with him in Fulgrim, these have got similar AI to him, where they dodge your attacks, and even if they're attacking, when you're about to attack, most of the time they'll try and dodge away. Sometimes they'll follow through, but if you keep attacking, most of the time they'll just keep attacking away. But if you don't have super hard, a good way to make sure you get an attack is you can start an attack and then harden, so that when they knock you out of the attack, your attack will actually follow through and attack them, and you can dodge away and just repeat that. That's if you're going to play it safe. If you're going to play it safe, attack harden, so then when they break your harden, you attack them straight after, then dodge away and just repeat. That's if you're going to play it safe. Because they always dodge away from your attacks most of the time, sometimes if you keep doing this attack, yeah, you'll see. But sometimes you've pressed R1 a few times, they'll dodge away, and then you do your circle and R2 attack, your running attack, and sometimes it'll hit them more often. If you like lob at R1 attack first, a light attack, and then do your running R2 attack, sometimes it'll hit them more often. Yeah, so you saw the dagger roll then. You could also just keep doing your dagger roll, like dagger roll into him, and hope for that time when everyone hits him. But when there's two of them, they've got similar sort of hidden stats to when you use the shell. So Eredrim, obviously he's got more health. Same to Hazia. I think Eredrim is the hardest shell to fight in this end battle, just because he's got the most HP. But Teal, he's got a very, very low HP on this end battle. So there's a duo, and Teal is one of the duos. If you can go for Teal first, you'll kill him very fast because he's got low HP. And watch out for special attacks. They will do special attacks, and the special attacks, if they catch you, they can do tons and tons of damage. Especially if Eredrim catches you with that hammer and chisel. When he does that hammer and chisel special attack, it can do tons of damage. So just be careful of their special attacks. If they attack you a few times and they get a chance to do it, you can't use guard break on these. But if you do need to get health back, last resort is to use mortar token. Like I say, you want to try and save them for Obsidian run. But you can use critical kick on these. By the way, remember, critical kick does work on these. And if you do need to get resolve, you can just use your Inferior Moonshine or Superior Moonshine. I'm not using special abilities because they're very, very glitched on the Axe Tanner guys, and there is a possibility that you may glitch a game, and it may force you to quit and redo the last boss. So there we go, just unlocked Hayden, Crypt of Shade. That's a third seed. That's seed number 5. I've just got 2 more seeds to get now. That'll be Founding and the Obsidian run. Yeah, so that's me. That's the Hayden. That's a complete cycle. I'll be uploading 2 more guys, and it'll be the Founding and the Obsidian one. I've unlocked all of his shades there. His shades are mainly for defeating. I think full gold is for defeating enough enemies, a certain amount. I think this other one is for killing a mini boss a certain amount of times. So I may have worked towards them a little bit beforehand. Yeah, so these are just what instincts I had. I'm not sure if I go over all of them here. But yeah, I hadn't cooldown legendary. I think the most legendaries I've had in a single run, I think I've only had like 3 max. But I have read online of some people that have had like 7 legendaries, maybe more. There's quite a lot of glitches around where if you loot a pillar, then quickly close app, and then load the game back up, you'll still have the instinct you got from that pillar, but the pillar will be replenished as if you never looted it. So you can manipulate the RNG a bit through little exploits and glitches to make sort of pillars respawn. But yeah, that's it guys, Hayden Seed. And all I do now is I buy the Abundance perk in the Runic Gate, so then we're ready for Founding Run, because you want Abundance ready for founding. That's very, very important. Yeah, but that's it, guys. My HADERN run, my 100% run off one of the seeds. I'm doing that same seed on founding and obsidian, and 100% in them again, guys. And hopefully I'll see you then, guys. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.